Yes. It's steel.
But you can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
Keeping it real.
Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Steven and this is Steel Keeping It Real. So you know what today is. Mashup. That's right, it is Mashup Monday. And on this day I go on YouTube and try to find some of the best mashups that are out there and present them to you guys. Now this second one that I'm doing for the evening is by James Brown and Led Zeppelin, and it's called A Whole Lot of Sex Machine. And I want to come back to James Brown because amongst the hip-hop community, James Brown was one of the first real ones that people were sampling all across the board. I mean, you would get all kinds of people that were sampling James Brown, whether it be like a hi or something else, get up, and all these other kind of things that James Brown did, as well as his break beats that he would have with his music. And it was just, and that was one of the reasons why when James Brown made an album back in, what was that, the early 90s, that was done by Full Force, where he talked, the song is called Static, and it, take off this echo, gone, give me some static, static, don't want no, won't be none. And he talks about that and I'm real, I'm the real super bad, ain't nobody talking about taking the things I had, I'm real. And I think it was I'm Real. It's off the same album. I love that album because Full Force actually breathed some new life into James Brown, but made him sound like himself. Sometimes you breathe life into somebody, and like when Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis tried to do Human League with I'm Only Human. Human League didn't even like that song, even though it was probably one of their biggest hits of the late 80s. Human League did not like that song because it made them feel like it wasn't them. And I get it, although I love that song. It can happen. So, and we all know Led Zeppelin, come on. I mean, it's Led Zeppelin. Even if you're almost as if you're over the age of 15, you should know Led Zeppelin because everybody who's older than you would be telling you about Led Zeppelin and how awesome they are. You know what I mean? And then, you don't have any excuse if you're, even me, when I was trying to teach my son about rock and roll and things like that, and I took him to an Aerosmith Motley Crue concert at 7. At 7. Bad parenting 101, yes, but he can look back at it as like, man, I got to see. Yeah, you did, I think. Yeah. But I was trying to always, instill in him like, you gotta know the classics. You really do. You really gotta know them. So if you like videos like this and others on my channel, please don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button, because I'm doing at least 15 videos each and every week. So, without any further review, here is a Whole Lot of Sex Machine.
And here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Get up, get on up, get up, get on up, get up, get on up, get up, get on up. Stay on the scene, get on up, like a sex machine. Get on up, get up, get on up, get up, get on up. Stay on the scene, get on up, like a sex machine. Get on up, wait a minute, shake your money maker, shake your money maker. Wait a minute, shake your money maker, shake your money maker. Is that a feeling? You got to get that. You give me fever and a cold sweat. The way I like it is the way it is. I got mine. Don't worry about his. Hey.
over again. Got my blood pressure up. So that was James Brown, Led Zeppelin, with Beat by Aerosmith, or Run DMC and Aerosmith, but Aerosmith still had the beat first. So maybe I'll just, even though they had the video for Run DMC, we all know. So yeah, that's a nice little hype song right there. And it wasn't until listening to this right now in this format that I realized that, as far as my generation is concerned, and maybe even the generation before me, the term "hit it and quit it" comes from James Brown. Because people would talk about, what'd you do with that little shorty last night? I hit it and quit it. That's the term I know of, hit it and quit it. Or, hit it and quit it. It's either one of those two. It had nothing to do with music at all, unless you get into the rhythm of it, I'm just messing. But yeah, that's where I knew hit and quit it. And the person that did this editing used it so many times in repetition, I was like a apple hit me on the head, like, duh. That's where that comes from. And I'm sure he got it from somewhere else. But, James Brown did coin a lot of phrases. I couldn't tell you what there was. But, like singing loud, I'm black and I'm proud, and things like that are all part of that vernacular of the 60s, And everybody who was of color, African-American wise, would have been hip to that vernacular. And that's when it's like, Soul Brother Number One, and all these other kinds of, like, give me five on the black hand side, things like that. There are all these terms, or just give me five, or you jive turkey, or any of those things are from that decade, and didn't bled over into the 70s, where you're hearing it on Sanford and Son, like almost every single one of those terms you would hear on Sanford and Son. But James Brown, I don't think gets as much credit as he is really due. I mean, he is called the Godfather of Soul. I mean, that's one thing. But especially when it comes to hip hop, there's a whole nother thing. That's not Godfather. That's like great Godfather to some of these people who were using him as far as hip hop is concerned, because some of them would not have even had hip hop if it weren't for James Brown. I mean, James Brown is sewn into the fabric of the
12 seconds later.
What's the word? I can't think of it. It's a cover. It's sewn into the fabric of but it's a cover that
12 seconds later.
Quilt. Couldn't get that one out. Quilt. He is sewn into the quilt, which is R&B, hip hop, all that mess. So, there we go. So, if you are still here, I thank you very much for staying tuned. I really do appreciate it. First and foremost, I want you guys to like the video as much as I like making it for you. After that, all you need to do to help me out with the channel is to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Peace.